So, welcome to Agency MVP Live. My name is Samantha. I'm a success coach here, and I will be teaching today's webinar. So, throughout the month of June, we've been sticking to kind of like this mid-year motivation. We talked about implementing MVP, how to get started. We talked about setting goals, how to set like a big 1-year goal and how to break it down all the way to what you need to do on a daily basis to meet that goal. That was a pretty fun class. So we've done that. And then last week we talked about managing staff and MVP. So how to watch their activity, what to look for, things like that. Today, we're going to talk about reviewing workflows. So what we're going to be really focusing on today is how to review already built workflows. Raise your hand if you know how to create workflows. We're going to ask this a different way, really quickly. I think I worded that different than the answer I was looking for. Raise your hand if you do not know how to create a workflow. So raise your hand if you do not know how to create a workflow. Okay, so today's class is not how to create workflows. Just want to make sure we kind of know that one. And let me talk about why. Before I released the schedule for the month of June, I didn't really take into consideration what my plans were for the month of July for MVP Live. So we kind of did this a little bit backwards here, but today we're going to talk about we're going to stick to the theme of June of kind of like trying to meet your goals, right? And so with that is reviewing the workflows that you've already created and seeing how good they're working for you, right? So that's really what we're going to be talking about today and kind of what to look for, maybe what to try to change, how often to change them, to check them, and things like that, okay? But throughout the month of July, we are going to talk about just workflows in detail. We're going to release the schedule for the month of July tomorrow. Just kind of working on a few minor details. That should be posted sometime tomorrow. I would say it'll be definitely before 5 Central Time for sure. But month of July, we're going to talk about workflows each week. So the first 3 Thursdays of the month are going to be covering the different types. So API, custom, and XState. And then there's actually 5 Thursdays in the month of July. So we're going to have 5 MVP Lives for workflows, which is good. And then week 4 and 5, we're going to talk about some different tips and tricks and things to help you get the most out of them, what you need to know, things like that. So definitely be some great webinars or classes, whatever you want to call them, for you to join. Today is going to be just checking out what we've already created. Okay, so let me know in the Q&A box, let me know what type of workflows do you have? What type of workflows have you created? I don't want to know that they're just API or they're just custom or just XState. What are they specifically for? Like, are they a workflow for your EverQuote leads or your Zapier integration? Or are they for birthdays, or are they for claims falling off, or life? What type of XStates? How are you doing them? Lots of stuff. Okay, Caitlin, you have a win back one. That's cool. That's definitely a good one. We got some workflows for Collins. Late pay, onboarding, renewals, claims, follow-ups. Oh, that's cool. Josh, do you use one, like you'll apply it to a household after they filed a claim to like follow up on the claim process? Is that what you're talking about? That's cool. That's a really good idea. So Josh said that he made a workflow for following up after claims have been filed. That's a pretty good idea. So something that I want to ask from you guys is if you are willing to share your workflows, you can share them with me. I'm going to be working on creating some documentation before our MVP Live start next month. So if you are okay with me looking at your workflows and using those to share with other MVP members, so it's not going to be just anybody, right? Just our MVP members, and using those for training next week or next month, let me know. Drop it in the Q&A box or send me an email. My email is Samantha, SAMANTHA @agencymvp.com. Something that you can also do is send me some feedback or what you know about workflows. Let me know like what has worked really, really well for you, what just was a complete bust. I mean, like there's some things that work really, really well for some agents and some that don't. Raise your hand if you have used some type of wording that someone else suggested that says that it works for them, but it didn't really seem to work for you. I feel like there's only one hand raised, which I'm kind of shocked because I feel like, okay, there's more coming now. I mean, whether it's a workflow, whether it's how you're calling or your contact strategies or what type of leads you're buying, you can take advice from other agents, talk to other successful agents, and kind of try what they're doing, but it might not work for you the same. So that's something important that we want to remember, okay? All right, so again, today we're talking about how to review workflows that have already been created. I mean, if you don't have any set up or just a few, it's still a good one to kind of learn and kind of be here for. But join the entire month of July to learn how to create them and some different tips and tricks for them, okay? And with those classes, we'll be also getting some more like workflow templates and stuff for you guys as well, okay? All right, raise your hand if you knew that you can track your workflow success within your MVP account. Raise your hand if you knew that you were able to do that. Okay, raise your hand if you have ever looked at a workflow after you have created it. A lot of people create workflows and then never look at them again. Raise your hand if that's you. Did you create it and you just never went back to read all the messages? There you go. Lots of hands raised. That's fine. That happens. But things change all the time. The way people communicate, the way we need to talk to people, stuff like that. It all changes, right? So it's very important that if you create a workflow, you are keeping up on your reports. So we call those action reports. It's pretty cool. You're going to go ahead and click your name on the top right and go to workflows. Here are all of your workflows. What you can do is you can click the green edit button. I'm not going to do my API ones because I've never actually used that. Let's try. See, no, see, so there's action reports. When you click the green edit button, they have action reports, right? SMS outgoing. 0 have been outgoing. 0 obviously responded. 0 stop responses and 0 no response. But let's talk about what these mean. Yours shouldn't have all zeros. If they all have zeros, then that means that your staff has never even used these workflows, okay? But what this means is it's telling you how many text messages have been outgoing, okay? How many people have responded are the next two. An other response is going to be anything besides the word stop. So if they respond with, I mean, I don't know, who knows what it is. No, not interested, or foul language, or whatever. Unfortunately, it does count as an other because they didn't say the word stop, okay? So the stop response is going to show the number of times that that people have said stop. Okay, so we've got stop, and then we've got every other type of response, and then we have no response at all. Okay, so that way you can look at this and see, okay, am I having people responding? If people are responding, what are they saying? Just because they're responding doesn't mean that it's good, right? That's what we want to know. How many people are saying stop? How many people are opting out of these messages when we're first getting them? It's important to look at. I would look at this report probably once a month, every 2 to 4 weeks if you want to look at it more. I would, when you make changes to your workflows, I would give it at least 2 weeks to see, unless like it absolutely like stops all responses immediately, then I would probably change them. Okay, so look at these here and then use these to help you decide on what you want to say. Are a lot of people responding, but we're not getting it to where we want to go? Keep that in mind, right? If they are responding, we might want to look at like your marketing reports to see what your closing ratio is. Maybe we can change our messaging a little bit to help us out with that if it's not doing too great, okay? If people are saying stop a lot, then let's think about what can we do to get them to not say stop. This should be enabled. So we give them an option to opt in or opt out, right? If you disable it on this page, you're responsible to add your own in. It is the law to give them an option to opt in out, okay? You can create your own stop message if you want. You have to type it into each text message though, okay? But I just leave it there. I think it's easiest to just have the system do it for me and I don't have to worry about it. That's my advice. But to get them to respond, we can try out a couple different things. Try things out. The things that you're going to try are going to be simple. Maybe changing the words text or email to all capital letters, because the word stop is in all caps, right? So that draws your attention. If you're looking here, where are you looking? I'm looking at these capital letters. Those are what's drawing my attention, right? So they're going to focus on those. And if we have more than just the word stop, then it's going to draw their attention here. Okay, so you can try something out as simple as that. You can take away the word hi and have it just say their first name, or you can put hey, or you can change this to be a little bit more, or a little bit less formal. How about that? You can use more like texting language, for lack of a better word here. I'm not really sure what you want to call that, but you can do stuff like that. This message also is a little bit longer, right? Maybe we can shorten it. You can do stuff like that, do a different question, and all of that, okay? So those are the types of things that you can change based on what you're seeing here. Anyone know like what their current response rates are? Like, what are you guys getting? Have you ever looked at this? Any idea? Use the Q&A box and let me know. All right. So I would say about 15 to 20 responses, or 20%, 15 to 20% is a pretty good place to be for like internet leads, right? I would say getting a whole lot higher than that is probably hard for internet leads. Maybe change up your first message, what it's saying, what your texts are saying, or when they're going out, okay? But take a look at your responses, your action reports, and then based on what you see here, try out a few different things. We have a bunch of templates in our file section of the Facebook groups. It's Agency MVP members only. You can join that group and take a look at the file section. Lots of great information there, okay? We will talk more about actually creating them and things to say, more detail on that next month, okay? All right, down below here we have your action report for email. It's a little bit different. Email outgoing, email open, and then we've got your open rate, okay? So it will tell you how many emails have gone out and how many of them have actually clicked on that email and opened it. Something that I've noticed based on what I've seen from a lot of our users that are using the email actions on workflows is when they use the main contact first name in the subject line, the open rates are increasing. Like if as email subject line has the first name in it, the open rate is pretty much guaranteed to be higher. Is something that we've noticed. Very, very rarely are they one of the lowest opening rates. Okay, these are just testing ones that I created. So that's why they're all zeros here. In your account, this is all time. However, if I go and I make a change to one of these workflows, so I'm just gonna take something like that away and then click update. It says changing your action body will reset the response rate. Do you want to continue? So if I do that, it's going to reset the response rate. Let me go see if I can find one that we've already used. Let's see. All these are my testing, so I'm trying to. Okay, here's one right here. So we've got two right here. So if I go and I change like this sentence, I'll do this one right here. Take that away, and then I'm gonna go ahead and update the workflow and click yes. Let's go back to it. So the only action report that reset was that one, not the entire one, okay? So something that we have in our request is to like notate the last time that this action was edited so you can see what the action report, what dates we're looking at, okay? So we're gonna add that, but these will reset every time you update the action. Okay, so it's telling you what that action as a whole is doing. Something that's good too is the reason why we have one API workflow per lead provider is because you need to see what your contact rate is for them, right? Because for Quote Wizard, you might have a really, really high other response rate, but for EverQuote or Smart Financial or All Web Leads or whatever it could be, you could have a ton of stop messages or just nothing, no response at all. If you are buying from multiple lead providers, that's really going to help you out to figure out which one of those you should be putting more money into. I don't think that one company is better than the other. I think that it just depends on where you're at and what type of leads you're getting. So take a look at those and see where you're best at, what you're doing the best at, okay? So you are going to go ahead and edit each one of these and change them. Like Todd, for example, he has a different workflow for his different lead providers because it's different wording, right? So like I want to say like for his Quote Wizard, his first response does really well, and then he had the same response for EverQuote and Quote Wizard, and it wasn't doing that great with Quote Wizard, but it seemed to do pretty well with the other lead provider, right? That's it just depends on where you're at. Someone did ask about this first name here. Yeah, so if you don't have to copy and paste it, you just click into wherever it is that you want that to go, and then click on any of these pre-fill variables, agency name or phone number or competitor auto premium, and that will fill in their specific information. Okay. All right, so I knew that this class wasn't going to take a full hour. I just didn't think it'd be over that quick. So anyone have any questions that I can answer about these action reports? Maybe what you see here and how how that can help you decide what to change. In emails, the open rate is really just based on the subject line. That's all that it is. So you just have to really be changing the subject line. Maybe change the reply to email. So you can decide who gets it, but that's not going to affect the open rate. Okay? So this really is just paying attention to the subject line. All right. So we've got quite a few questions that have come through here. We are not going to talk about creating workflows today. I might answer a couple questions about them, but I'm not going to go too in depth with them. The month of July, we are going to be talking about workflows in detail. Okay, so week 1 will be API, week 2 will be custom, week 3 will be XDate, week 4 will be all the different tips and tricks and how to switch to XDates and all that stuff. And then week 5 will be creating templates. Okay. Bob, I believe I answered your question about the pre-fill variable with the first name. The curly brackets are what we call a pre-filled variable. Okay. If there's just regular parentheses in there, that's what's going to send. So if you have parentheses and it says like agent name between the parentheses, you need to erase all of that, please. If you use these workflow templates that were built into MVP and you come over here and you have these parentheses right here, you need to go erase these and actually type in a signature, please. Okay? All right. How do you link the workflows together? So once the workflow ends, it'll go into the next workflow. You can only convert that to an XDate workflow. You will not see anything else other than an XDate workflow. Okay? And that's switched to. And we'll really go into detail on those next month as well. Can we create life insurance workflows? Yeah, you can create whatever you want. The workflows in MVP, you have complete control over. You can do whatever you want. But those are gonna go under custom. It's a custom workflow. You can do anything you want there, okay? Someone said, I just heard this week, so my current open rate on emails is 25 to 33%. What is the average you're seeing? Honestly, I think that's a pretty good rate to have. Depending on that your types of leads of the days, right? If they're internet leads, and that's pretty good. But if we're like, I would say anywhere from at least 20%, high teens, 20%, we want to be at least at the minimum. If we're lower than that, then we need to kind of review it and see what's going on. And go from there, okay? That is what I would recommend. Just kind of keep an eye on it. High teens, preferably more so in the 20s and higher. So I think the 25 to 33% is a pretty good place to be. Does everyone see the same action report in the agency, or is it different for each user since it's different workflows? So when I go to the workflows page, I'm going to see all of the workflows in my agency, whether I'm the one that created them or not. If I go to this workflow, this customer review, and I click edit, I can see the action report, whether I created that workflow or not. And I can go make a change to it. So it's very important that you're keeping an eye on it. As the agent, you should be looking at these and keeping an eye on them because your staff does have access to them. So I recommend that there is one person in charge of workflows in the agency. They're the person that will review the workflow actions, another person that will make the changes. Whether they're the ones that actually write them, I mean, it depends, doesn't matter there. But I would go ahead and make sure that there's someone, like there's some type of approval process. We need to make sure we have the correct spelling and there's no grammatical errors, right? I mean, that's not fun when you're misspelling a bunch of words in your emails and text, right? So I would have some type of an approval process in your agency where like this one person is the one that will make the change, but the staff can go to them to decide or to give ideas or say, this is what I want to go in mine or whatever, okay? That's what I would definitely recommend. I think that's important to have some type of system on these. But yeah, anyone can go see the action reports and change the workflows. Any other questions? All right, if you have any other questions, please use the Q&A box and let me know. But I know it was fast, not a lot to it. I just didn't want to like go over things a tiny bit and not really show you. So next month, we will be here for probably the full hours for each one. I'm really going to in depth on each workflow type. To get to your action reports, you're just click your name on the top right, go to workflows, and then click the green edit button for whatever workflow that you want to look at. And then you have your action reports. If they show zeros for outgoing, that means that no one's using these workflows. So you need to figure out why. Okay. These are just zeros because this is my testing account and we don't really even use them in here. So we just kind of create them, show y'all how to create them here. All right, if you have any feedback, ideas, or you would like to share your workflows, please send me an email to samantha@agencymvp.com and I will be more than happy to share those with everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining. I will catch you guys next month in MVP Lives. They are going to be great ones for you guys to join. Very, very detailed. Today was just kind of the ending to our maybe your motivation, reviewing things, making sure we're reaching our goals. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed June MVP Live and everything that we covered. If you have any ideas for different MVP Lives for the month of August or anytime after that, let me know. Thank y'all so much. Everyone stay safe and healthy, and we'll talk soon.